Luke, many congratulations. You waited 6 weeks for this feeling. Was it worth the wait?
It was. It really was. It felt really good. I'm really pleased with the manner I did it. I feel like I've played well throughout the tournament. Maybe been slightly unlucky, but you have to create your own luck sometimes. And I felt like after the weekend I had in New Cape, and it was important for me to come here and try and keep the form going. And I think, like I said in my interview at the end in New Cape, and just enjoy the game. I feel like when I enjoy it a little bit more than sometimes I show, I seem to play a little bit better. So tonight was really pleasing for me.
It's nice to play at a good pace tonight.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Everybody I played tonight was at a good pace. It's always great when you got someone that's in your rhythm. It feels really good. It was obviously it worked in my favour that I managed to play well.
Do you think that's the best you've played since the World Championship over a consistent basis? I know you said that judge me at the end of the season, but do you feel now you're in your stride and that's the best you've played since that World Championship final?
Yeah, that's pretty obvious, and I think that's definitely the best. It might be the best I've ever played in my life in one night. I think I've had some. Let's think about Euro tours. I've had some great Euro tours, but I think that's probably up there even better than some of the Euro tours I've played. And I think that's probably one of the better nights I've played in my career. So it just shows that maybe my career is going upwards even more. Obviously you get a few people that say, it ain't a great start. Maybe it wasn't a great start, but a lot of people didn't know some things that were going on behind closed doors. Obviously my nan passing away was really tough for me, and I found that out the second day in Den Bosch. So that was really hard for me to play that game against Lukelittler, but I did, and I was really close to my nan, and it was really tough for me. But life goes on. You have to try and battle through it, and the funeral was the weekend in the Players' Championships that I missed, and it was. Come on, let's get your head on now. It's later to rest, and we can go again. I feel like since that moment, my head's been in a better space.
Touched on the Euro tour there. Is it nice to get back to your starting ground? That's where it all kind of started for you. So straight on the plane.
Yeah, it's Dan Dawson's right. It really is the best tour in the sport. Honestly, it's amazing. The crowds are absolutely fantastic. The schedule's fantastic. All the crew behind behind closed doors are all fantastic. All get along with them really well. It's just a fun environment to be involved in, and I just love playing in them. And I think that's why I play so well. So it's going to be nice to catch up with a few people that I haven't seen for a long time. I miss Ryan Silks. I've not seen him much recently, so it's going to be nice to see him again. And I'm sure it's going to be me paying for food. But it's nice to go there in good spirits and in good form. And I know I've got a tough draw, haven't I? So. It's going to have to keep performing like I am to do well this weekend.
Luke, many congratulations.
Thank you, Phil.
Luke, it has been coming. It's been playing so well. It's amazing that we've not spoken to you sooner as a winner. But even though that this is your first night, do you think that you've played better than anyone else in the Premier League up to press? You're second now in the table behind Michael.
Yeah, I mean consistently. Yeah, probably right. I think with the we can't always go on averages because it doesn't always tell the story, does it? But I feel like the averages wise, I'm probably at the top of everyone. I think I am. I think my performances have been good, but it's important to not get down on yourself if you're not doing well, because if you're hitting our high averages and you're not winning, sometimes you can, get a little bit complacent and feel like negative. Whereas I feel like I'm playing well. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, and if it keeps carrying on, the good times will come. And it almost didn't against Rob. The way I played there, if I'd have lost that, I probably would have walked off and be like, "What more can you do?" But I managed to get through that one, and then I didn't feel nervous, but I felt like I was trying too hard to win the game in the end against Michael, and it could have been another great average, but averages don't mean nothing. The trophies and the nights winning, the points are more important than anything. So, really pleased to get over the line tonight.
You mentioned the averages there. I mean, you put in some big numbers, big performances tonight. When you enter a match or enter a tournament, do you get a different feeling that this is going to be a really good night? I just feel everything's in place, or is it on stage? And practice could be totally different.
It can be both. I mean, in practice I was fantastic tonight. It felt good, but I felt really good in where did I lose to Rob Cross 6-5 that night. I felt fantastic. I felt like I couldn't miss. Newcastle. And then I went on the stage. Where was that one?
I think it was Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah. And I felt really good, but it didn't happen for me. Obviously I played all right, but I felt like that night could have been tonight. But practice sometimes does do you a bit of confidence, because if you're practicing well, you feel good, and you usually go out there and play well. But sometimes I'm a slow start. I think that's my Achilles heel. Sometimes I start the games off a little bit too slow, and that can affect me. But tonight it didn't. I managed to play 3 great games.
it's still weird to say, but this is your full debut in the Premier League. Now that the Euro Tour season is kicking in, how do you feel like you'll manage that? Because you've been a demon on the Euro Tour the past 2 years, but now with the Premier League on a Thursday, straight on a plane on the Friday, and then obviously playing Saturday, Sunday, how do you think you'll manage that extra time?
Yeah, I mean, this is something I'm going to have to learn. I think I'm not really sure how it works, how I'm going to feel. All I know is, from the Wednesday I went to, God, I forget where I was last week. Where was we last week?
My head.
No, in the Premier League.
Oh, sorry, Premier League, Exeter.
Exeter. So from the Wednesday I travelled down to the Sunday. The Sunday I was in that final, I was just absolutely shattered, to be honest. So it is really tiring, and maybe you have to, manage your schedule a lot. Make sure you pick the right tournaments. For me, I'm going to try and make every single Euro Tour if I possibly can, because it's important for the Pro Tour rankings. I might have to skip a few Players Championships, which it will just it has to give, because you can't play in everything, unfortunately. But I'd love to. So we'll see what happens. But I think that I'm fit and healthy and young, so that's going to benefit me more than anything.
Luke, big well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Luke, congratulations again.
Thank you.
You just touched on it a bit there. Tonight was probably the first time we've seen a bit of fatigue from Luke Littler. And obviously, if you would have shown that on the stage after the weekend you had, you probably wouldn't have got the negative that you might have had. How are you handling the on non-stop schedule, and what are you doing? Anything mental? Dimmy talks a lot about his mental game going into that final. Are you doing anything in particular to help with that, being on the stage?
Honestly, credit to my girlfriend, because she could easily have me up at 6 a.m. looking after my son who wakes up at that time, and she allows me to sleep in. So she understands the importance. If she wanted me to get up at them times, I'd do it. I would, but she is the most supportive woman in the world, to be honest, towards me, and I give a lot of credit towards her, because she allows me to come home and have that rest I need. Whereas if you're a normal dad and you have to get up at 6 in the morning I got back from mine at 4 a.m. My week would have been ruined, to be honest. So all the credit goes to her for allowing me to have that relaxed time. She works incredibly hard at home. I work incredibly hard at darts. So for me, I feel like that's important. It really is, because your home life is really, really tough when you're away all the time. You come home. I love spending time with my family. She allows me to sleep in. So I know that sounds crazy, but that extra rest that I really do need is what I get from my girlfriend. She allows me to do it, and she wants me to do it. So she's very supportive. And also, mentally, I'm in the best place possible. I feel like I've achieved everything I've ever wanted. But you have to keep working harder and harder, and I keep my diet really well. I've got a nutritionist that keeps me healthy and stuff like that. So I have all these extra people that really do help around me. It's not all what I do on the stage. It can be behind closed doors that really do allow you to excel.
And how important do you see that mental and nutrition side of the game evolving? Obviously, with you're reaping rewards from it. Is that something that you'd 100% recommend to other players? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, like I said, I got that. I think people will see on my social media, sports nutrition. They send me meals, and they're all nutritional things that I need, the right balance. And these little things that can propel you, even if they help you 2%. That 2% can change a lot in this game, especially at the level we are at. So I'd recommend it to everyone to keep in shape, keep your nutrition levels high. Plenty of water. I like to drink plenty of water and stuff like that, and I don't tend to work out as much as I used to or anything like that, but because I'm busy. But I do like to keep myself in good shape. Sometimes you can't always do it, but that definitely is credited to my success and how I managed to stay less fatigued than anybody else. Thank you.
Just a real quick one for me. Talking about mental health. Cast your mind back maybe a few weeks when you said you weren't enjoying darts as much. How do you sort of dig yourself out of that sort of mental hole that a lot of people can get in general in life? How do you sort of approach that? And is there anything sort of new that you've had to learn about yourself to kind of get yourself out of that and perform to the highest levels that you can achieve?
Yeah, I think that sometimes the game can just become, you're just a constant, you're playing every week, and you just sometimes, sitting here right now, I'd love to just have 2 weeks off of darts and just put them away and just spend time with my family, recuperate and just enjoy life for a couple of weeks. But you don't get it in this calendar, so you have to accept that there's other ways to deal with it. And I think for me, the way I recuperate and manage myself to be in a good place is with my family. You know, I had a couple of not great experiences this year. You know, the Masters losing early, I had a couple of the World Series losing early, and then the Pro Tour, obviously, I had a stinker. It weren't great. You go home to your family and you realise that, you know, there is more to life than what you do, to be honest. I think that puts everything into perspective when you see your son, you see your girlfriend, your stepdaughter, and you just do normal things. That really does help my mental health. I love being with my family more than anything. So I just believe that them sort of things really do recuperate me and allow me to put my mental state in a good way. I wasn't enjoying darts as much, but I think that's just to do with the fact of, you know, I wasn't having that break that I maybe needed. But you know, I'm going to make sure I take the breaks throughout the year that I need.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, what have you made of Brighton? How have you found the crowd? How have you found it being down there for a couple of hours?
Honestly, I mean, the crowd were fantastic tonight. You know, it's one of the smaller crowds that we have, but you know, they made great noise, and sometimes them intimate venues can make the best crowds, and you know, they were really good tonight. Unfortunately, I don't really get to see much of Brighton. You know, you hear Wednesday night, you know, maybe I go for dinner with everybody on lunch, should I say, and then you're here playing, and I'm back away in the morning, so I don't really get to see much. But I know that it's a great city, and you know, I know my girlfriend loves it here, so you know, maybe in the future we'll get to come here together and see it properly.
Perfect. Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.